Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Vernita Glenn White, and thank you so much for joining another episode of The Brilliant Professor-ish. I am your certified and credentialed life coach, and as a result of working with me, high-level ambitious women, typically between the ages of 35 and 55, who are looking for more personal satisfaction in their lives, searching for a way to tap into their unmet and unfulfilled desires, and who are seeking a way to increase their impact, influence, and income beyond their current reality. They seek me out to support them, and I help them, or women like you, if you are listening, maintain stability with the life that you've already created. I help you develop strategies to expand your expertise in multiple areas of your lives, and I help you gain more clarity and courage to take your next best steps towards your dreams. And most importantly, I help you feel supported as you transition to the next season of your life. So if you are ready to expand your capacity for more, explore new possibilities, and elevate who you've always known yourself to be while leaving your unique print on the planet, then we should connect or continue to listen to this podcast. So I've shared with you that we talk about practical tips and everything over here, and I typically try to give you some updates of what's happening in my life or some lessons that I learned to give you a more practical approach to this whole life coaching and what it's really about. So as of the timing of this recording, it is currently May 7th, and I just finished, well, today I still have one more event to do, but yesterday I spoke on the most powerful women in network marketing stage in front of about 107,000 people. That's how many people registered. So depending on how they do their marketing and sending out everything, that is the potential number of people that would have heard me speak. And that is super amazing, like beyond what I could have ever thought about. And I think currently in the room, that showed up live that day were somewhere between 10 and 15,000. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I had did a visualization, and I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to celebrate every part of evidence. But I used to do this visualization with Lisa Nichols, and that's how I got there, by the way, about an invitation from her. And this visualization she does, and it's on YouTube. And if I can find it, I will put it either in the description box or in the show notes that will be associated with this broadcast. And it's about speaking, and about, I think it was when she was going to speak and then the traffic jam, and she ends up in the arena because she always visualized herself talking to 10,000 people. And when she got there, everyone was saying thank you. And then, long story short, it manifested itself into reality. And it was a version of that. So I started doing that. And then I didn't make the connection until one of my friends, she was helping me like go through my speech and prep. She was like, you do realize that all of this stuff is what you used to talk about and say that you wanted. And I almost missed it because I was like, well, I'm not in a physical stage. But she was like, so what? This is evidence. I was like, you are right. And when she said that, I believe that things aren't showing up into my current reality as quickly as I want them to, because I am discounting the evidence or the quote unquote small beginnings because it's not coming wrapped in the package where I thought. So my advice to you, or suggestion to you, would be to look at every single thing as evidence, no matter how small it is. My money mindset coach actually says when you start thinking about manifestation, even if it's small as a parking spot, and you're like, I always get great parking spaces, and then you have them. And I do that all the time. I always have great parking spaces now, but then it's like, remember, that's evidence. And then so it works. So you elevate yourself, you elevate your thinking to something else. And I was like, okay, I don't want to miss it. So it's taking me a minute to really sit with it. I posted like pictures on social media, but I'm really going to sit with that and life lessons and do something about that experience, or share that experience at a deeper level, because there was so many nuggets. And it's like I quote unquote owe you all a lot of tips, especially from the previous event. So that's what I wanted to share with you in front of that many women well, people, and then the people that were in the room. So I didn't just show up just to go speak. I went there to learn, and I had a little dabble in network marketing for I think 3 total. And I was talking to one of my friends last night who's also supporting the event, and I didn't realize that I had attempted to do network marketing probably 13, 14 years ago, probably way back before that. And now that I'm thinking about it, it's been 4 times because I did something as it related to insurance. And I was like, okay, now that I'm sitting here with all of this awareness, I need to do something with that. And so it's a reason something inside of me is being drawn. You know what, y'all? Oh my goodness. Okay. I just had a complete disruptive thought revelation. I read this morning in Isaiah 43, paraphrasing because I didn't take out my notes because I wasn't expecting to say this. But in general, it says, let go of the former things, the things that used to work in the past, for I am doing a new thing. God is doing a new thing. And then he will carve out rivers in the wilderness. I've been so focused on like coaching, and don't get me wrong, I still am doing that. But I've been so focused on like teaching and all right, I gotta gather my thoughts. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting edit. I had a thought, y'all, I had to catch myself. I'll share it when it's fully manifested in my mind. But I was saying is I've had these dibble dabbles in some form of network marketing for years. And now I'm thinking back, even when I was teaching at a middle school, which was in the single 2000s. So this has been a long time, and I haven't made the connection. And so I did that, and it's 4 ventures total, but the last two, the ones that were in my mind for real, has been like a health and wellness company and working with fintech. But I wasn't really like showing up in it fully, right? And so being at this conference set a fire under me, not even saying like, oh, you have to go back into network marketing, but hearing how they talk about network marketing as a profession. And I remember, if you all listened to one of the previous episodes, I was saying that going into coaching or life coaching, I had to start treating it like it was a profession. Doing that shows up more like a business, and your work ethic changes when when it's a profession versus it being a hobby. My business bestie, she had texted me something similar to that, and I was like, oh yes, that's a YouTube video, and I'm definitely going to talk more about that, to where whenever you're transitioning into something, stop treating it like a hobby unless you mean it for it to be a hobby. But if you're serious and you know you want this to be your next business venture, you have to treat it like a profession. And the women and a few men that I coach and talk with, they're all highly degreed, and they have worked in a professional setting. But I'm not saying that you have to have a degree to work with me. But I'm saying is they put time, effort, and energy into learning something to prepare them for their careers. But it's interesting how we, now putting myself in this, how we transition and wanting to go into business and being entrepreneurs, but still showing up like it's a hobby because we feel, quote unquote, like we haven't gotten the training necessary to do that because we didn't go to business school. And that is so not true. All right. So the point, and you saw the title of this podcast, this episode, 3 thoughts from $20 million a month. And so at this event, when I said that I didn't just go there to speak, I was also there to listen and to learn as much as I could, because I was also supporting Lisa behind the scenes. And there's a lady, I think her name is Bri, I think it was Bri Richardson. I just looked her up on TikTok before I got on here. Let me double check. Yes, Bri Richardson. And she said something that was like mind blowing. And it was so simple. And it's been the common thread through all of the stories that I heard. Another woman that was on the panel, and she was associated with the network marketing company that I was associated with. She makes $200 million a year, and they have 1.6 million customers in their base. And I don't even know the size of their team. She didn't talk about that. The people who were attending, the women who were attending the conference, and the people that registered and showed up online, they wanted to know the tips and secrets to growing your social media for network marketing, for growing your team, for getting more prospects and customers, and all of that. And the interesting thing is they didn't share actual products or services because they didn't want the Marina Worry, who is the founder of this conference. She didn't want it to be like the magic was in the product or the magic is in the service. It's about the profession of network marketing. And I know that there are people out there who still think MLM and network marketing is a scam, but it's when you understand the business side of it and understanding how it works, especially from the people who are showing up ethically, with with integrity. People who are showing up in that space, and me being on the other side of it, seeing the back end systems and how it could work, I can totally see that how this is a profession. And then on the other side, I can see how people would think it's a scam. So one of the ladies that she was on the panel and she shared some things. And I was like, you know what? We're just letting money, like, really, I don't even want to say leaving the money at the table, not even going to the table to see the pile of money. Because it's one thing if you're doing something and you're making money, but you probably aren't looking at all the possible ways that you can generate more income. That's different. So if you are speaking and you're getting paid to speak, then that's one way to get your income. But then if you have a product that you can sell or a service that you can provide and you don't do that, that's leaving money on the table, right? Or like in my case, I have a book that I've written, but if I'm not out there speaking about it or booking keynote speeches about the my book and the framework, I'm leaving money on the table. In this sense, not showing up how Bri was talking, not showing up at all, then you're not even trying to be in the room where you can possibly get the money off the table. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And she shared some things because when she shout out that they make $20 million a month, me, my team, the people that I was with, we were like, say what now? And it's interesting when we heard the first lady said that she makes $200 million a month. I mean, $200 million a year. I caught it and I was like, okay, yeah. But it's something about the way Bri said $20 million a month. They're equivalent in a way, but it's just something about that monthly. When you break things down monthly, it's like, wow. I think the way she talked about it was what was more captivating. And she shared some secrets, and I'm going to tell y'all what she said. And the reason why I'm telling y'all, one, because I don't hoard and I think there's abundance. Well, I believe that there's an abundance for everything. So if I can make $20 million a year, I mean, $20 million a month, I'll take a year too. But $20 million a month, I want you to make your 20, 50, or whatever millions you can put in your mind to make a month. I'm like building this up because y'all might think that, you might go get your pencil and paper. You may have paused me real quick. But I'm trying to tell y'all, all the women who shared their stories and shared their tips, I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you. It was nothing mind blowing. There was no secret sauce. There was no secret product or service. There was no handout or connection. Now, don't get me wrong. Being connected and knowing how to leverage is a powerful tool. And if you're able to do that, and I'm learning how to do that too. We talked about that in another episode. So I'm not going to say you have to start and do it on your own and don't get help. No, no, no. Let's use some wisdom. And they've all done this in a way. But what I'm about to share, she was like, if you can do this first, everything else will come easy. All right. I really hope this is making sense. She said, one, and again, we're talking about 3 thoughts to lead to $20 million a month. Now, I'm going to put this out there. I'm not saying if you only do these 3 things, $20 million is going to come right now in your experience, like tomorrow or the next 5 minutes. Nope, that's not what I'm saying. Because there are still practical things that you have to do. But these right here, I think for a lot of people, and especially for me, it's like, it can't be that easy. I have to make it this hard. And what if we reversed it? Okay, I'm going to jump in because I know you're like, get on with it. She says, one, act like yourself and talk like a human when you're on social media. So she's on social media and she just did a post that I looked at. It was like, y'all, I don't have on my makeup. I have on, just some a sweatshirt and some shorts, and I'm here talking to y'all and I'm talking about my product. Now, don't get, okay. She's a cute girl. I'm a cute lady. She's pretty. And I'm not saying this, okay, let me just go ahead and say it. So when she says this is how she shows up, she still looks presentable in a way, right? So don't get on here. And this is just me. You, because another lady said she gets up like she look like she rolls out of bed. And if that works for you, that works for you. But you know yourself. It's one thing, and I told my friend this, it's one thing I can get on social media now without makeup and I'm good. But I have washed my face, brushed my teeth, I've done my skincare. So okay, I'll leave it like that. But talk like a human. And then my coach, Lisa, stepped in, was like dialogue versus monologue. And I was like, that is so true. And for me, I am so used to teaching or being the lecturer, the sage on stage. And I've really been working on having more conversations. And I think one reason why I struggled about not being able to show up like a human a lot of times on social media is because I didn't really know what to say. So I'm going to add that tip in there. Find out what you want to talk about, and for someone who has a curriculum and instruction background, who knows all the education or have all the education as far as the education profession, it's like when I hear content, my mind goes to automatically teaching somebody something or something that has to, be in a book or something research based or something like that. And that's not what content really is. Content is just something that you can pull out, in my opinion, to have a practical lesson. And depending on what kind of content creator you want to be. If you want to do pranks all day, that's cool. If you want to just, show your cat, that's content too. Anything that you're showing on display for entertainment or infotainment, right? So in the business case, showing what goes on in your day-to-day life. And then you can slide in things about the product or the business or service. You can document your journey to entrepreneurship. You can document your journey to your next level in your career. But then you're talking to people about it. Even they're like, you all are not physically in front of me, but I can still ask questions, or I can still say, do you understand? Does that make sense for you? Or let me know down below if anything is resonating with you. Talking to a person like that and then doing live streams. And she didn't say this, but I'm just saying ways to show up like a human on social media. And then she says, get out of your head and get into your heart and focus on your personal experience. Getting out of your head about, okay, how does this sound? Or what should I say? And this is what she said, throw all the scripts out. And it's interesting because in network marketing, everything is based on the script. My my little bit of time in there, we have all the scripts. If this is what you say, if a person says this, 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 if they don't say this, you say this, all of that. And I do think that's beneficial. I do think that's helpful. And that's one reason why companies do work, because there's a system and there's a framework, there's strategy and structure. However, I think sometimes we, especially those of us who are highly trained and highly educated, we're so used to following scripts that when it's time to deviate, because we never really had to, it was like, let me do this enough just to get by. And then it was never, okay, when it's time to transition, sometimes that can be a difficult thing to do. Like, okay, I'm a rule follower, I'm doing this, then what? But in entrepreneurship is in business, that's totally different. It's really about the relationship. So using the script to understand the structure, but then show up in your heart, make it personal. And I know it sounds simple, but that's still challenging for a lot of people to do. I know that has been challenging for me, and I wonder if it's been challenging for you. And then she says, focus on your personal experience. And I know when I started, I did show up and I was using it because I actually liked the product that I was, serving to people. And then when I tried the other company, I was still like I was working on the systems and showing people, but I didn't think I talked about it enough from my personal experience. So I'm gonna break down there's a four things she said. Why this product or service? And I do believe I said it, but we have to be consistent. Now, she didn't say this. This is me just adding based on a lot of other things people said, but Bri really broke these things down. And so when somebody who's making $20 million a month talk to you, you listen, but it's being consistent. And a lot of them, they didn't make this money the first year, the second year. For some of them, it took them 5 years, 6 years. And I know I gave up. And the reason why I titled this Three Thoughts from 20 Million because of the story 3 Feet from Gold. You know, the story of the man who was digging in his yard because someone told him gold was back there, but he did not find it. He had been digging like for so long that he finally gave up. And then you see on the picture that if he had gone just 3 feet more, he would have struck gold. Imagine if you would have gone 3 days longer, 3 weeks longer, 3 months longer, or 3 years longer. What could have happened? Why this product or service? But you don't just do it one time. Then she says, why did you say yes to your opportunity? Now, this could be anything. So I know I'm talking using her tips as a network marketer, but this could be anything in coaching. It could be in your career. If you want to advance, you have to find your spot. But these are just guidelines. When you want people to be in a community with you, you want to build relationships. That's all this really is. And I know I struggle with that. It's like I can be around people and still feel like I'm alone. Like I am a true introvert. And that doesn't mean I'm shy or anything, but I don't do well with small talk. I don't. But with these tips like this and being consistent and letting people know that I'm an actual human, even with doctor in front of my name or whatever title that you may have, people know you as the president of a company or, chief executive officer, all of that. Sometimes our titles and our positions keep people from thinking that we're human sometimes. And for a lot of us, we have to work through that. Well, one of my friends, she did say that. She says the reason why network marketing, a lot of people can be so successful if they stick with it is because you don't need anything to get started. You don't have to have any degrees, no special training. It's just you and how you show up. It's like there's no, what she said, there's no level playing field. You just put them in the field or they'll level it, or there's no coming to the table. You just give them the materials and buy it and they'll build it, something like that. But all of this is showing up like you're a human. So why this product or service? Why did you say yes to the opportunity? And what was wrong before you used the product or service? So tell me the benefit. You said yes, but where were you before you started this journey? Where were you before you started using this product or service? What were you like before? And what was going on in your life? And that's part of being vulnerable. And I know I did a lot of personal development work to become vulnerable. If you listen to the first, 5, 6 episodes of this podcast, I told you all a lot of things. I've become a lot more vulnerable, but then also I need to do that consistently. Now, vulnerable doesn't mean you show up and tell all your business or you cry every time you come on social media or on the camera or get on stage. It's not that. But it's coming from a place where you can show people that you still have breakdowns, but you're also still brilliant. That you may have some chaos in your life, but you can still show up with confidence and certainty. And then the next one, this is still part of part 2. What are you fixing through your product or service? So if it's health and wellness products, then I'm working on becoming a better person inside and out, my body, or mental wellness, emotional wellness, or getting my family together in, with trust or legal documents, or understanding how to build wealth through cryptocurrency or fintech, which is financial technology and things like that. What are you fixing through that? So people don't want to hear, well, I'm just going to give you this product or service so I can make money, or it worked for me. But they want to know, like, are you still using it? Are you a product of your product or service? And then the third thing she says, what she said before I caught it, was you have to believe in what you do and what you offer. And again, I know y'all were probably thinking that it's some earth-shattering secret sauce, but it's not. She said, act like yourself when you talk on social media or wherever you go in the room, which is a dialogue versus a monologue. Get out of your head and drop into your heart and focus more on your personal experiences, not with the company or the career or whatever is doing, your personal experiences. And then believe in what you offer or do. Now that should have been number 1, but the way I wrote it down, that was the third thing. But that was the theme throughout the entire conference so far. And that was only 2 days in. And these are tips from people who are 7, 8, and 9-figure earners. And when I tell y'all that they are regular people, they don't have the best stage presence. A lot of them weren't as polished as you would think. And that's not a dig. I'm just saying certain things that I'll just put me out. certain things that are in my mind of what you think a CEO or someone who generates a lot of money in business, how they will operate, some things that you think that you have to have before you can get to that level. None of that. But I will say they were still put together because I don't want, look, this is just me. Maybe this is just the people that I attract. Somebody can come on and say something different. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like. I'm just go ahead and put this caveat out there. And you can't see my face on this episode, but you've seen my face on this channel. I am a Black female in the United States of America. And I personally cannot show up just however I want to, and things still work out for me. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. And I'm not saying that I can't, like,
Okay, future me stepping in. So I'm about to cut out this 2-minute rant that I was on because the following day or a few days later, I had a conversation with my money mindset coach. And what I learned through having this discussion, because I still felt like a little judgmental about calling this particular lady like unpolished. And it wasn't that she was unpolished in the sense of her physical appearance, but it was the fact that she would say whatever she wanted to say. And so my coach was telling me that there's a part of me who wants to be real, raw, and a version of my messy, really being truly authentic. And what came out of that conversation was that me being in this space, I'm still working through finding the real me, like being in a place that's, what did she say? Like the real me is unfamiliar in a sense, because as a college professor and even teaching, but more so as a college professor, because I'm a Black female and I worked in a predominantly white institution, there were just certain parts of me that I had to conceal. Now I showed up as authentically as I possibly could, but then I still got judged for that. So being in this entrepreneur space, it's like, okay, I'm still subconsciously wrestling with that. So she was letting me know that it wasn't that I was judging the lady, I was more so admiring the fact that she could be however she wants without in being in her head. So truly being unapologetic. And I've said I've been unapologetic, but not in that sense. So when I saw it, it was a trigger in me to be like, oh, that's what we really want. So again, not like her, because I don't show up like her, but being fully me in that moment. So I just want to let you all know that I cut out a 2-minute rant, and this is, now we can get back into the podcast, because I think we pick up at a good point of why I'm doing this podcast the way I'm doing it. All right, back to the episode.
changing my thought of what it means to be polished. So, like, the one reason why I'm doing this podcast like this without so many notes or script is because I'm getting out of everything has to be laid out. Every word that I have to say, it has to be documented. I can do that when I'm doing my teaching part, but I also want to show a side, even with doctor in front of my name, there's still some ums or some disconnected thoughts in the process, So I just want to show that it's really about the belief. And when you have the belief and all of that other stuff really doesn't matter. And I think that's what, when one of the ladies was like, just be messy. She can be messy and have her message come through because she strongly believes in what she does and strongly believes in the product or service that she offers. So being 3 thoughts away from 20 million, the first one is believe that it is possible. Even if 20 million is not your number, believe that whatever you want to accomplish is possible and have faith in it. I'm going to add faith. Believe it and have faith. If you don't think you have enough belief, just look at your, I'll say, faith history. Go back and look for all of my people with degrees. You knew that you were going to school. You knew that you were going to graduate. And even if along the journey you failed the class or the money got funny or the professors weren't acting right, there was still a part of you that believed that you were going to finish no matter what. When you got into the career and you wanted to go up to another level or to advance or get a promotion, and you had your eyes set on VP or president or whatever, and you're in that role now, no matter what happened on your journey, no matter how long it took, You stayed focused and you were consistent and you had faith in it and you believed in it. So if we can do that, why can't we do that with money? Money is just another object. This just clicked to me. The degrees that we have, or the certifications, or the positions, it's a piece of paper, or it's a little plaque on the desk. There's nothing tangible about it except for what's in our heads. Same thing with money. Money is nothing but paper. It's what we assign to it. Okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. With the degrees, is what we assign the meaning to that. There's no value in it, but because society has placed value in it, then that's what it's like. That's what makes it quote unquote prestigious. Same thing with money, only because people put value on it. When not too long ago it was sheep and goats. So it's just, if we put it in our minds and say that this is possible, I don't care if it's $1,000 or 100 million, whatever the number is, or a billion. I want you to go as big as possible, but you have to believe it. And that's what all of these women were saying, regardless of the product belief. And then I'm switching. The second one, act like yourself, which was number one at first, but act like yourself and be a human being. Build relationships. I know it's cliche and it says your net worth is determined by your net worth. I fought that for so long because I used to say no new friends, no new friends. But subconsciously, I've been blocking my relationships and people who want to support me, who want to grow with me, who want to buy from me, or who want to hire me, right? Because people don't hire your products, or people don't use your services like that. They buy into your personality and your experiences. So build relationships. And three, which was number two, is get out of your head into your heart and focus on your experiences. Remember, why this product or service? Why did you say yes to the opportunity? What was wrong before you started using that? And what are you fixing through that? Those are the three thoughts to $20 million a month, or to whatever you want in your life. It could be a new relationship or a better relationship, family, friends, romantic, whatever. It can be a new body, and you get to define what that new body is for you. It can be a new home. It can be better mental wellness. Everything comes from that, in my opinion, and apparently from these multimillionaires. So I don't want anybody in the comments to say, well, money is not important to me. That's a lie. If you want the best health that you can get, you need resources. If you want to take care of your body, you need the best food that you can get possible. And how do you think you're going to get that? If you have aging parents and you want to make sure that they have the best support and the best access, it takes resources, i.e. money, to do that. If you want a better life for your children, or if you want your children to have these experiences, what do you think? Experiences aren't free. So it's interesting how we can want something, but then because we don't want to talk about money, or saying money is not important, but then we get mad because we don't have the things that we want, because we won't look at the object. Now, I'm not saying you worship money or everything has to be about money, but money makes the world go round. But it's your position. And if you know, and for me, God is the source. So it's really not the money. And I know that's a challenging thing to say, but God could truly make everything happen without using resources. But I believe He puts us in charge of the resources because we have dominion over the earth. And we don't have dominion because we're not operating in the resources. And we're not operating how He wants us to because we are judging the source. We're judging the resources that He clearly told us to use. All right. That's another topic for another day. Let me know one of your best tip that you got from the three thoughts, or if you have another thought, especially if you're a multimillionaire or billionaire. What are your thoughts? Because I just thought it was mind-blowing. And I hear this, but it was just something different. I think my mind was just ready to be in a place to hear it, to where it's really not the things that we're seeking that's going to give us the life that we want. We already have everything inside of us, but it's really in our head. And I think Rich Litvin says this: you are 6 inches from everything that you want. And the 6 inches is the space in your mind. All right, I'm excited. We start today. I'm actually running late, so I have to go get ready. I don't have my speech today, so I get to relax a little bit, but I do have to be part of the sales team or the enrollment team, because there are 2 offers that are being presented, and it's about sharing your story and getting your language together so that you can have the life that you desire. All right. Thank you so much for listening and learning with me. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. And remember, the world needs you to be well, to be empowered, to be bold, and to be brilliant. Until next time, bye. We all have some sort of relationship with money. Some love it, some fear it, some hate it, and some enjoy it, while others see it for what it really is, a tool. I've been in each one of these categories before, but now I can say that I know money is a tool that works for me, and I enjoy telling it what to do. However, it hasn't always been this way. I've always been a great saver and budgeter, but when I became a dualpreneur and then later a full-time entrepreneur, I needed to shift how I thought about money. I no longer had a salary to rely on. I had to start seeing myself as a magnet to money, whether it was going back to a job or staying in my own business. I had to unlearn and learn a lot about money in this new space. I'm grateful for Dr. Tracy, who has been my business coach and now my secret money mindset whisperer. Yes, a mouthful. We have a tight community, but it would be selfish of me not to share this amazing experience. Dr. Tracy is a living example of how money truly is a vibe. Check out her membership using my affiliate link below. I encourage people to go all in for at least 90 days, and then you get to decide if you want to keep going. But this isn't your average community. Dr. Tracy gives so much practical and energetic knowledge that you can't help but to shift your mindset and your relationship with money. Well, if you're open, of course. Check out the Money Mindset membership, and I can't wait to see you on the other side.